Ever notice how some shooters cling to advice from 30 years ago and wonder why their scores plateau? While others embrace modern mechanics and smoke targets with half the effort? You've probably seen it before. A shooter at the club struggling with a gun that passed the test back in the 80s, forcing a stance that fights their own body. That difference isn't about respect for tradition, and it isn't about natural talent. Here's the truth. Shooting science has evolved. What we thought was gospel in 1990 is often what holds us back today. Today, we are stripping away the old wives' tales of shotgunning. We're replacing them with biomechanics and visual science that work for you, not against you. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Barrel Boost. If you've been shooting for decades, you've likely heard a library's worth of advice. Lean into it. Cover the bird. If it fits the arm, it fits the shoulder. Here's what most shooters don't realize. As we age, our reaction times and flexibility change. Relying on outdated techniques that require brute force or youth-level reflexes is a recipe for missed targets and sore shoulders. Today, we are debunking 3 specific myths that are likely killing your accuracy. We're going to look at the elbow test for gun fit, the aiming trap, and the keep moving misconception. We aren't just saying these are wrong. We're going to explain the science of why they fail and give you the modern update that makes shooting feel effortless again. Myth 1, the elbow crease fit test. Let's start with the biggest offender in the gun shop. Myth number 1, the elbow crease test. You know this one. You pick up a shotgun, stick the buttstock into the crook of your elbow, and see if your trigger finger reaches the trigger comfortably. If it does, the old-timers say, it fits. Here is the truth. This test tells you absolutely nothing about how that gun will shoot for you. Why? Because you don't shoot from your elbow. You shoot from your shoulder pocket with your cheek on the comb. The distance from your elbow to your finger has 0 correlation to the distance from your shoulder to your eye, or the length of your neck. When you rely on the elbow test, you are measuring length of pull based on your arm, but ignoring the most critical factor, your mount geometry. For example, a shooter with long arms but a short neck who relies on the elbow test will end up with a stock that is miles too long. To compensate, they have to creep their head forward or push the gun out, destabilizing their core. So, what is the modern replacement? It's called the mount first verification. Here's how you do it. Close your eyes. Mount the gun to your shoulder pocket naturally. Don't adjust to the gun. Bring the gun to your face. Keep a comfortable, upright posture. Now, open your eyes. If you are looking straight down the rib with the bead stacked or the sight picture you prefer, the fit is close. If you open your eyes and you're staring at the back of the receiver or looking way over the barrel, the fit is wrong, regardless of what your elbow says. Modern coaching prioritizes the nose to thumb gap. Generally, you want about 2 finger widths between your nose and your thumb on the grip. This ensures that during recoil, you don't punch yourself in the nose, but your eye remains close enough to the action to process the visual data correctly. The magic part? When the gun fits your face and not your arm, the felt recoil drops significantly. You aren't fighting the gun, it becomes an extension of your skeletal structure. Myth 2, aiming down the barrel. Next, let's tackle the silent killer of consistency. Myth number 2, aiming the shotgun. I hear this constantly on the range. Make sure you see that bead on the bird, or check your lead. Here's the part most shooters skip. The human eye cannot focus on 2 different planes of depth at the same time. It is physiologically impossible. When you aim like a rifle shooter, your foveal vision, that's your sharp, central focus, locks onto the front bead of the shotgun. Because of how our eyes work, if the bead is in focus, the target must be out of focus. It becomes a blur. In modern shooting dynamics, we call this bead checking. As soon as your eye checks the bead to verify the lead, the gun stops moving or slows down because your brain shifts focus from the moving object, the clay, to the stationary object, the barrel. You miss behind every single time. The modern technique is hard target focus. This relies on trust and neuroplasticity. You must train your brain to lock onto the leading edge of the clay, focusing on the ridges, the shadow, the spin. Your barrel should only exist in your peripheral vision. You are aware of it, but you never look at it. Think of it like driving a car. You don't look at the hood of your car to stay in your lane. You look down the road, and your brain subconsciously calculates where the car is relative to the lane markers. It's the same with a shotgun. For example, try this drill next time you're dry firing at home. Pick a corner of the ceiling. Mount the gun while keeping your eyes 100% locked on that corner. Do not let your eye drop to the barrel. This tells your body, the hands follow the eyes. If you are over 45, this is even more critical. Our ability to shift focus rapidly, called accommodation, declines with age. If you switch focus from target to bead, your eye takes longer to readjust back to the target. By the time you refocus, the bird is gone. Lock your eyes on the target. Trust your hands to put the gun where your eyes are looking. Myth 3, the keep moving misconception. Now, let's talk about movement. Myth number 3, keep the gun moving no matter what. This is often interpreted as swing fast, swing through, and never stop. While stopping the gun is bad, the old school swing through method, where you start behind the bird and slash through it, relies heavily on timing. If your timing is off by a fraction of a second, you miss. As we get older, relying on raw, twitchy speed is a losing game. Here's the good news. Modern technique favors efficiency over speed. The modern approach is about matching speed. Instead of slashing through the target wildly, we want to insert the gun into the flight path and match the speed of the bird. When you match the speed, the target appears to slow down relative to your barrel. This gives you a sensation of having more time to take the shot. It's less about keep moving fast and more about move efficiently. There is a saying in the military, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. In shotgunning, this means minimizing wasted movement. For example, old advice was often, start your gun low, but if you start your gun too low, you have to move it 3 feet up to catch the bird. That's a lot of motion. Modern technique suggests a hold point closer to the flight line. Less movement means less room for error. It preserves your energy and keeps your visual picture calm. When you stop slashing at targets and start matching them, your brain stops panicking. The pressure drops. You aren't trying to outrun the bird, you are simply intersecting it. This turns shooting from a test of athletic reflexes into a test of mental focus and smooth mechanics. That is a game you can win at any age. Conclusion. Now I want to hear from you. Have you been using the elbow test? Or maybe you've struggled to keep your eyes off the bead. Drop your routine or mental focus tips in the comments. And if you want more barrel boost breakdowns that sharpen both skill and mindset, make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss a performance upgrade.